2024 was a very big year for horror fans. We got the third installment of the Terrifier franchise, we got the sequel to one of my favorite modern horror movies with Smile, and we got countless other timeless classics as well. And although 2024 looks like it might be very hard to top, it looks like we are not going to be slowing down at all for new horror movies in 2025. And with that said, that is the reason why today in this video we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 most anticipated and must-see horror movies of this year, and I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know up until this point so you can get ready for these brand new releases in 2025. So with that said, go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a drink, sit tight, and let's get into it. For the first movie on this list, we're going to be taking a look at Wolfman, and this is a brand new adaptation on the classic Wolfman story. This is brought to us from Blumhouse, and it is set to release on January 17th. Now, January 17th is just under a week away at the time of this recording, so you don't have much time to prep for this movie. Just know that it's definitely going to be one of the contenders for one of the coolest and the most hyped up movies that we're getting this year. This is how we're going to start off the year when it comes to the big world of horror. Like I said, it's coming from Blumhouse, the producers of The Black Phone, the director of The Invisible Man. This is going to be a really big movie. A lot of marketing is going into this, and a lot of hype is going into this as well, so you definitely don't want to miss Wolfman on January 17th. This movie was the center of a little bit of controversy a little bit later on last year. A lot of people didn't like the sneak peek look that we got of Wolfman at Halloween Horror Nights, but after seeing some more clips and some more videos, it looks like they must have changed the overall look, or that just wasn't even the planned overall look anyways. But like I said, this was the center of controversy. Hopefully it didn't deter people from actually wanting to go and see this movie, because I do want to see this movie perform very well. I think just based off the trailers, it looks very promising, and I'm excited for this one. So for that reason, that is why it is number one on this list. Another really anticipated movie for me this year is going to be Dark Match, and the reason for that is because I am a very big wrestling fan, so when you combine that with my fandom of horror as well, we kind of have all the makings to be a really good movie for me. This movie basically follows an independent wrestling group that just somehow finds their way into this backwoods town that is actually run by a cult, and it looks like these matches and these shows that they are forced to put on are determining who survives and who is sacrificed for the cult. Like I said, this combines professional wrestling and this combines horror, and then the casting on top of it as well. We do get Chris Jericho, who is no stranger to horror. He has been in the Terrifier movies, and he is a legend in the professional wrestling scene. So I think that this movie definitely has the potential to be a good movie. Do I think it's going to be one of the best movies ever? No, but I think it's definitely something that will pique your interest if you are a wrestling fan or just a horror fan overall. This is a Shudder original, so we'll be releasing on the Shudder platform, and it does release January 31st. So if this is anything that will interest you, be sure to watch Dark Match as soon as it releases. The next movie on this list that I'm definitely looking forward to is Hard Eyes, and Hard Eyes releases on February 7th, just in time for Valentine's Day, and this movie will follow a slasher who goes after anybody who is in a relationship. Their hashtag is stay single, stay safe, and I am honestly very hyped to see how this movie actually performs in theaters. I do have a video on my channel breaking down the full trailer if you want to go and check that out, but something that I said in that video is that I do feel like this movie has all the makings to be a really good modern slasher. To me, it kind of feels like a modern Scream movie, and apart from the original Scream, those are my favorite Scream movies in the entire franchise. It kind of seems like a whodunit scenario, so I'm definitely on board with that, and I love the look of the Hard Eyes killer. I love the actions and the sequences that we are seeing the killer perform in the trailer, so I think this movie does have potential to be one of the best this year. As I already said, Hard Eyes does release on February 7th, so this is yet another anticipated movie of 2025 that you do not want to miss. Another big movie on this list that a lot of people are hyped and excited about is The Monkey, and The Monkey is set to release on February 21st. Obviously, most of us by now do know the short story and the adaptation that this movie is going to be following, but it's basically centered around an old toy monkey that two brothers discover, and then as soon as they discover it, a lot of deaths and weird events start to happen around them. This is coming to us from Osgood Perkins, who is the person behind Longlegs. We also get Stephen King, and we get James Wan as well. This movie has the makings to be one of the best this year as well, and I cannot wait to see how this performs. The trailer that we got for this movie makes it look very, very interesting, so I'm ready to see if the full feature-length film is able to capture all the crazy stuff that we do see in the trailer. Like I said, this movie does release on February 21st, which honestly is not that far away. So if this sounds like anything that might interest you, then you definitely want to go see The Monkey as soon as it releases. The next movie I want to talk about on this list is a movie that I don't think enough people are talking about, and I'm not sure if it's just because a lot of people in the horror space aren't familiar with the genius of The Weeknd, but The Weeknd is coming out with his own horror movie titled Hurry Up Tomorrow. We don't know much about this movie besides it's just an upcoming psychological thriller. It will be starring The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, Barry Keoghan, Charlie D'Amelio, a lot of familiar and famous names. We know that The Weeknd isn't completely new when it comes to horror. He did have his own house at Halloween Horror Nights one year. This movie is said to release on May 16th, but like I said, plot details themselves aren't really released, so we're really just going to have to wait and find out. But for me, it's a really anticipated and hyped movie because I love The Weeknd, and like I said, you combine my favorite things with my other favorite thing, horror. I think it's going to play out very well. It's going to be something that I'm very interested in. So on May 16th, Hurry Up Tomorrow will be releasing. A very big movie for this list is M3GAN 2.0, and obviously this will be the sequel to the original M3GAN movie that we got. I will be the first to admit I wasn't on board at first with the M3GAN movie. I kind of didn't really understand the direction they were going, and I thought that it was kind of a Chucky ripoff. But after getting more familiar with the character and with the movie, I really like M3GAN. I think that the movie's good. I sort of come around to like the idea of the AI doll. I think that this movie has the most potential to be a better sequel for this year, but I feel like part of that is due to just how large of a fan base the original M3GAN movie was able to get. Luckily, we won't have to wait too long because M3GAN 2.0 is slated to release on June 27th, so it's going to be interesting to see what direction they actually go in with this sequel. The next movie on this list is going to be the untitled Insidious 6, and like I said with M3GAN, I think this has the potential to be a very good extra installment for its own franchise. The Insidious movies to me are very original, they're very dark, they're very creepy, so the fact that we're going to get a sixth one after getting The Red Door not too long ago, I'm excited to see which direction they decide to go in now. Much like other movies on this list, the exact plot details and casting details themselves are unclear. They're not really releasing any information yet, but the release for this is set on August 29th. I wouldn't be surprised if that date changes, just due to how early it is in the year and how much flexibility they still have to work on the movie itself. But I myself am excited about the new Insidious movie. I think that this is probably going to be a really hyped and a really anticipated movie for a lot of people this year, so you're definitely going to want to keep your eye out for Insidious 6 on August 29th. A movie that has potential to be even bigger than the next Insidious installment is The Conjuring Last Rites. This is said to be the last movie in The Conjuring's main franchise, and is supposed to be Ed and Lorraine Warren taking on one last terrifying case to try and solve these paranormal mysteries. Once again, I do think that this movie has potential to be an incredible installment for its own franchise, and I do see it being one of the more hyped or popular movies of the year. Conjuring Last Rites is supposed to be coming out on September 5th. That date is probably set in stone. I wouldn't expect it to change, but then again, I wouldn't be too surprised if it were to change, once again, just because of how early it still is in the year. The Conjuring movies have never really clicked completely for me. I've never been the biggest fan of them overall, but I do think that they have potential. I do think they're very interesting, and I do know that the fan base itself is rather large. So The Conjuring is going to be a very big and anticipated movie for this year, releasing on September 5th. Arguably one of the biggest movies that we have releasing this year is going to be Saw 11, and I say the biggest because I know just how large the fandom for the Saw series is. This is going to be the 11th installment in the franchise, and all we know so far is that Tobin Bell is confirmed to reprise his role as John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, so I fully expect this to be another flashback movie much like Saw X was, considering we all know that John Kramer at this point in the Saw universe is dead. But like I said, very big fan base, very big budget, very big marketing is going to be going into this, and if it's anything like Saw X, then we can definitely expect a very, very big showdown in this movie. I'm excited for it. I love the Saw movies. I think that the franchise has, a very strong running to be one of the strongest horror franchises in history, so we will be getting the 11th installment in this on September 26th of this year. The final movie that we are going to be taking a look at on this list is The Black Phone 2, and this is said to release on October 17th of this year, and this will obviously be the sequel to the original Black Phone that we got not too long ago from Blumhouse. The Black Phone has very quickly become one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I don't know if it's maybe just the overall look of the grabber or maybe just the really strong characters and storylines for this movie, but I'm so excited to see where they go with the sequel. They have confirmed that the original cast from the first will be reprising all of their roles in the second, so I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of paranormal grabber coming back to haunt Finney and his family from the dead, but that's just something that we're going to have to see, because it might be a whole flashback sequence. You know, we might get story of what the grabber was and what Finney and his family were years before he had his showdown with the grabber. But like I said, this is going to be something very interesting. I'm very hyped for this movie. It's one of my most anticipated movies this year. It honestly might be my most anticipated movie of the year, but I'm very excited for it. The Black Phone 2 will be releasing on October 17th. And before we get out of here, I do want to give an honorable mention to Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. I think that this has potential to be a very big horror title for this year as well. The only reason I didn't include it on this list is because at the time of this recording, the movie is literally set to release in like 2 days, so I didn't want to throw it on there and get everybody scrambling about me talking about a movie that's about to come out in 2 days. I will be going to see it on release day on Monday, and I will be having a review for it out on Tuesday, so definitely look forward to that. But Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, I just wanted to throw out an honorable mention since I didn't include it in the official list. But with that all out of the way, that officially wraps up our list of the top 10 most anticipated and most must-see horror movies of the year 2025. If you think that I missed some that you are very excited about, then go ahead and comment down below which movie you're most looking forward to. I probably missed so many because we have so many good movies set to be releasing this year, so go ahead and comment down below what you're ready for. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then please be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you're going to subscribe to the channel, then you might as well click that notification bell as well, because it is literally right there next to that subscribe button. My name is Haydxn. It was a pleasure having you here on the channel, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.